If you want this year to be your best academically, then it doesn't happen by accident. This is the back to school routine you need to achieve the top grades in your end of year exams. Now, the first thing is that you need to have the mentality that you really want this. I spent the whole of last year working in a secondary school and also private tutoring 10 students. So I saw firsthand the difference between the students who achieved worst results and the students who achieved the best results. The students who achieved the worst results came back from secondary school, from summer, just with, they didn't even care about their exams, okay? They weren't even thinking about exams. You could tell they just was really upset, like summer was over. They were just living for the summer, basically. The students who did the best, however, they were coming back with the best mentality. They were focused. You could just tell they really wanted it, and they knew if, it's all well and good wanting it, but they knew if they wanted it, they needed to put the effort in to actually achieve the results. So the number one thing with your back to school routine is start thinking about how badly you want those results at the end of the year. Okay, you can see so many like GCSE results videos or A-level results videos, including mine, online. You want to achieve that. You want to see and feel amazing on results day, and that starts in day one. Okay, so in terms of actual routine, the most important first thing is sleep. Too many students just sacrifice sleep. They just don't sleep enough. And I've seen it before. I see students say, everyone talks about it. I think a lot of people who get the top grades kind of say, oh, I didn't get much sleep and stuff. I don't understand that personally. For me, the moment I started really focusing on my sleep and making sure that I was sleeping well, a lot of other benefits came my way as well. I just felt fresher in school. I know how it feels to like come to school with like 4 hours sleep. You're up until like 3 a.m. on TikTok or something. I know how that is, and it's just not a good feeling. You're not going to learn anything. You're not going to remember anything. So the first thing you need to sort is sleep. It's fine during summer to mess up your sleep schedule, sleep differently, but you do need to adapt. Don't just keep that summer mentality throughout your exam season and exam year. So in terms of actually fixing your sleep, I mean, everyone knows kind of the way you can do that. Set a consistent bedtime, consistent time you wake up, and just stick to that. I know that can be hard, but probably the biggest reason why I think students find it difficult is because they sleep with their phones right next to them. Your phone is designed, and apps on your phone are designed to take up your time, to draw you in. So that's just not a good idea to have that right next to you when you're trying to get to sleep. So I always slept in year 11. I decided to put my phone downstairs. I sleep in upstairs in my house. I decided to just put my phone up downstairs before bed, and that really helped because then I couldn't go on my phone. When I was traveling in the summer, because I was in hotels and stuff, I had to have my phone next to me, and I just noticed how much it damaged my sleep. So I still get distracted by my phone. If it's there in the morning, I do. So what I know to do is put my phone away. Okay. So try and get some consistent sleep routine. And I'd recommend scheduling 9 hours for your sleep. Okay. An hour to get to sleep, slash any distractions or anything in the night. And then 8 hours, which everyone knows is the minimum sleep that you need, or at least the optimum sleep that you need. So you need to sleep and get in that sleep routine as early as you can. And if you can keep that routine, then you're on for a good start. This links like directly to my second point, which is screen time. Again, I'm sure your screen time skyrocketed during summer. It's really time to cut that down massively. Okay, I think the average student's screen time is like 5 hours or something, probably more than that. Comment what your summer screen time is. Mine's probably been some weeks mine's been 4 hours, which is usually pretty high for me. I would recommend within month one, by the end of September, cut your screen time on your phone to 2.5 hours max. Okay, ideally, that's kind of roughly your baseline for screen time. And during exam season and in the months up to that, it's got to be hour and a half or lower. My screen time during GCSE, like in the month before, it was like 20 minutes or something crazy on my phone. I didn't do that for my A levels. It was more like hour and a half. I was a little bit more balanced then. But I would say cut down your screen time. In terms of how to do that, honestly, one of the methods I'd recommend is get your parents to set up a screen time password. I have that. My girlfriend actually has my screen time password for TikTok at the moment, which is a bit embarrassing, but it's worth it. Just because I know that if I'm setting it, I'm just gonna like click on it and ignore the screen time. So set a screen time password and lock up Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all of social media, and put a limit of like an hour on it, and you can eventually, as time goes on, lower that limit. That's super important though, because otherwise you're just going to drain your time on social media. So you have to stick to it. You could delete apps if you want to, but you don't have to do that necessarily, especially as we're easing in. But I would recommend you've got to think of ways to cut your screen time. So putting your phone down before bed and getting a screen time is going to really help. That's two things I'd recommend. aim for 2.5 hours by the end of September. If you're really serious about achieving good grades, that has got to be the maximum time you spend on your phone a day on average. Obviously, it can go up a little bit in weekends. Now, again, I would start and state your intentions to your teachers about this year. So start sending out some emails to your teachers saying, is there anything I could do to go above and beyond this year? That's going to really make them think, okay, this student wants to do well. And so they've got that in their head. You've got that in your head. You've set your expectations up. Again, I would sign up to my email list, okay? Shameless plug, but every week, at least once, I'm writing an email on Friday just with my revision advice, my back to school advice, equipment advice. You're missing out on so many random emails about revision throughout the entire year if you don't sign up, and it's completely free. I do that for free. So please sign up for my email list. All you do is click on it and type in your email. Again, adapt. You need to adapt to your revision and adapt to this year as well and research. So what I'd be doing is spending a bit of time during September just thinking about my revision, reflecting on it, and watching videos on like how to revise. One thing I would not recommend doing is being complacent. So to those students that did really well in their GCSEs, they're coming into A-levels, it's easy to just think that the same methods and techniques are going to work. Not necessarily. Every year you've got to renew and refresh. Are there any different like exam methods or revision techniques that you're looking at and you recommend? ChatGPT, for example, like the rise of technology, can you use that in your revision? I just have a think about how you want to revise this year, because it does change. Things may change. So it's definitely worth researching that and warming into your revision as well. So yeah, from summer, you don't just want to necessarily go like full in, like 5 hours of revision a day. I would ease into it a little bit, but not like other students necessarily do. Okay, you do want to revise from the start. So for example, my A-levels, I remember I came in for my GCSEs and I went into my A-levels, and literally from the start, I was doing like 5 hours of revision a day. I was revising in an empty room during lunch. It was genuinely sad. So just don't do that. You don't need to absolutely go straight in, because the first few weeks of A-levels, for example, they are just easy. There's not much you can revise. They're just kind of, giving you some information for the course and all that sort of stuff. So you don't need to go full on, but set the goal and set the schedule of just regular revision and thinking about revision and setting up and organizing. Okay, so that's my advice in terms of that for back to school and the back to school weeks. Start thinking a lot about your revision, researching your revision. And again, one of the most important and effective techniques that I'm going to be talking about this year a lot is pre-learning. What can you learn ahead? That's really, really useful and really effective throughout this year. So probably about 80% of your revision should be like stuff you've done before, but 20% you can actually learn ahead. So what are you studying this year? Is there anything you could do to get ahead of that during your back to school once you've done your homework in like your extra time? That is such a powerful thing to do. So for my GCSE year, science especially, they usually like take it till literally the last month to teach all of the content, because it's such a content heavy GCSE. So what I'd do is I'd start completing Seneca or completing revision resources ahead. I was learning ahead, watching YouTube videos on it already, and that really helped me. So think, what can I learn ahead? And I would spend a couple hours a week, an hour a week even, just learning ahead in your subjects. Look ahead, because that's going to help you. When you go about it in class, you're already going to be above and beyond. And that's what the top students do. They stay above and they stay beyond. So that's my main advice then in terms of back to school. You've got to get onto your sleep quickly. You've got to lower your screen time dramatically. Obviously, homework. Just stay on top of your homework throughout the year. But I will be talking about this in future videos. You don't always have to do homework if you don't think it benefits you. For now, though, as you're easing back into it, I would do all your homework consistently way before the deadline to a very, very high standard. And then also research about revision. What can you learn about revision this year? Do you know how to get an A star? Have you looked at videos of people who got A stars in your A-level subjects or 9s in your GCSE subjects? It's worth thinking about and taking the time to do that and get in that habit. All of this won't work unless you really want it. Remember what I said about the distinction between the lower level students and the higher level students. The high level students, they're focused, they want it, they're not living for summer, they know that they're here to learn. Hope that video was helpful. Please subscribe, please leave a like, please leave any questions in the comments and I'll try and answer as many as I can. Thank you guys, you've got this, and it's going to be a fantastic year for all of you.